Hello, everybody. It's Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario, October 21st. October 21st, Tuesday. I guess the Blue Jays didn't do like the Leafs. They pulled it off last night. I saw that. So at least some little good news besides all the other not so good news. So I'm just gonna get right to it. Get right to it for the daily news today. Dollywall or Diwali's day 2 of Diwali too in Sarnia. All right, what are we doing here? How was the day? How was the day on X? Okay, another smash and grab at a jewelry store. Oh shit! Did I lose my picture? I'm losing everything here. There we go. Another smash and grab at a jewelry store in Pickering this time. Pickering. So like, it's we used to make fun of LA and stuff in the States when this was going on, and now it's happening more in Canada than in the States. Oh God. I'm sorry. I lost my picture. There we go. But yeah, like it's happening now, and it was happening before in Toronto, but now it's going in like further out. Like I heard Grimsby had a new Grimsby. What's the other one? Not Newmarket. Yeah, Newmarket. So yeah, it's starting to spread out. I think I was saying the other day it was just a matter of time before this happens in Sarnia at one of our fine jewelry establishments. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, you know you're in a third world country when you can't even have a jewelry store. And everybody's just sitting back watching. I guess, you know. It says Toronto crime. Okay, yeah. But that's Pickering. So it's spreading. It's spreading. Third world crime. Because that's third world crime. Like, that stuff happens in third world countries. Now it happens here. So that's what it tells you. All right. This is in Sarnia. Our police service put this out. Diwali was declared a special occasion day under fireworks bylaw, and fireworks are permitted on private property from dusk until 11 p.m. One day prior, and the day of, and one day after. This includes tonight and tomorrow. So don't call 911 to complain. That's Sarnia turning into India. Horrible idea. I get called a lot of names because I don't want Sarnia to turn into India. It's just my personal preference. I think it's I think it's a reasonable thing to want, but apparently you're not allowed to have an opinion. You're called a racist. But they don't call you a liar though. So yeah, a lot of comments here. And they're like, oh, what's the big deal? It's Diwali. But like, it's like they're shoving this holiday down our throats. Like kids have to go to school and people just don't want to be India. It's simple as that. It's not that complicated. And it's like, if you have two eyes in Sarnia, I'm not talking about the rest of Canada, but if you have two eyes in Sarnia, it doesn't take much to figure what's going on. I don't care. I don't care. Like we had the story of the Indian dude who got busted for trying to pick up a 14-year-old. He was 29-year-old Indian dude. And they're like, and I said deport him, and they're like, how do you know he's not Canadian? I'm like, whatever, Vishy Kumar basically from Caledon, but that's like basically Brampton. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say yeah, he's not Canadian. I don't even care if he has a Canadian passport. It says, oh, look, I'm Canadian. No. And then I was like, you know, this is a big problem. We're bringing in millions of these guys that are single. There's no girls in India. Like, there's a big imbalance in the gender, in the sexes, whatever. And they're coming here. They're single. They got no prospects of hooking up with a wife or even a girlfriend, and they either go not all of them, but a bunch of them will go the sexual assault route. Like, oh, you're the Uber driver. Oh, like a girl can't even take an Uber driver these days. It's not just limited to Indians. It's all the third world, whatever we're bringing. So, yeah, some people resort to that, go down that Uber route. But others will try to be the sugar daddy for teenagers. Like this guy in Sarnia, this guy from Caledon was mailing this girl like all sorts of goodies, buying her Uber Eats and giving her an iPhone and whatever. Like trying to be the sugar daddy. And I was just saying it's a big problem because you got millions of these guys. It's like the culture there to mistreat women. Like, trust me, I've seen stories, and because you don't want that here, you don't want Canadian women and girls, especially to feel threatened or not safe. You get called names. It's ridiculous. But these guys will go out of this, especially these guys in Sarnia. I'm not going to name me. You can look it up on my Facebook, but they go out of their way to defend these perverts that we're importing. It's crazy. They're out of their way to defend perverts. And it's like, I know we have perverts in Canada. We have our own homegrown ones, which is a big problem. I'm sure if you did a lot of luring entrapment or, trying to trap predators like they do, the big rage now on the internet, you'd find lots of homegrown ones, but doesn't mean we need to import more. But anyway, I said, well, I'll debate you guys again during the next sexual assault case, because we've had 1, 2, 3, there's one every month now in Sarnia. We had the dude stalking the girls over at the high school. We have this dude, the other dude at the library. So whatever, kind of don't want to live like that. All right, now we got Tommy Robbins, and this is a problem in Canada too. We got people fighting for the Canada we want, but we get these Zionist influencers that only want us to get mad at Muslims and keep the importing Indians and Africans. So I always say we should deport them all, but Tommy Robinson, he got this. I have the video too. He's in Israel, and the guy says the British have a special place in hell. This is some Jewish official, and Tommy just sat there. It was hilarious. We got a lot of these type Tommy Robinson wannabe types in Canada. We gotta steer clear of those guys, because they're more worried, I think, about Israel's image than about what's best for Canada. Okay. Also, another big story today. The GM confirmed, or no, they said that this line of electric trucks that they're making in Ingersoll at Cami is going to be discontinued. Now, they stopped work on it in April, but they didn't say it's canceled. They just halted production, but they made it official that it's not going to start up again. And the government gave $500 million to this project. So there's Doug Ford.
If they breach a contract, we're going to sue him.
Oh.
Simple as that. And he knows that.
This is him on the GM.
And we're going to make sure.
Let's see this.
Ontario's
This is the reason.
Was this a bad bet, do you think, on Ontario's part to put money into this General Motors facility? And how do you get that money back?
If they breach a contract, we're going to sue them. Simple as that. And he knows that. They breached a contract, and we're going to make sure that we get another vehicle in that area.
Okay. So it's interesting, this thing, because they're making electric vans for like government agencies, whatever. Nobody wanted them. And so it might not be because of the tariffs, but I'm sure the tariffs didn't help. But it actually points to a bigger problem, the battery production and all the billions that the government and the federal government and the provincial government are throwing at battery producers to come to Ontario. And you never know, batteries, like it might be why are we spending billions for these companies to build battery plants? And you never know, batteries could become obsolete. You never know, they could invent some hydrogen cell and all those billions are gone. But it's clearly they placing wrong bets, I think. Plus they made it a horrible environment for business in Ontario. Plus he's trash talking Donald Trump for months. So no wonder the business climate is not looking good in Ontario, especially for the auto sector. And Doug Ford now, he's going to sue GM. He's pouring out bottles of Crown Royal. He's just a horrible leader. I said it before the election. Nobody wants to listen, but it's true. Expect more closures, though, I think. It's going to be a monthly thing. Weekly thing, almost. Okay, here's the video of Tommy
birth to the Jewish state in
getting
World War
insulted.
The Balfour Declaration. The UK has got a special place in
what a
my
little
heart,
cuck.
because on the one hand,
Little Israel
they really
cuck.
helped give birth to the Jewish state in World War I. The Balfour Declaration, the San Remo Accords, the mandate for a Jewish Palestine. The UK was at the forefront of that. And then they turned on us.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
They turned on us, man. And therefore they have a special place in hell for turning on the Jewish people. You were like doing this great thing. You were
See, right there, if Tommy had any integrity or like honor for his country, he would stop the guy right there and say, "Hey, man, you're out of line." But no.
helping Israel be reborn after 2,000 years of exile, and it was it was a biblical value. It was also a defense for a UK value, but it all turned on us. Can we turn it back?
Can we turn it back? The British government have just turned on Israel. But
They've been turning on us for a long time.
Yeah, but when we say they, it's the British government. So let's separate the people from the establishment.
Mm.
The establishment have turned. It's like when the American establishment were in power under Joe Biden.
Mm.
The American people didn't support that. The British public don't support what the British government have just done.
If
If it was put to a democratic vote
Yeah.
on whether the British public wished to recognise the state of Palestine, it would be a resounding no. Yeah.
Look at them groveling.
So the people haven't turned on Israel. The people haven't turned on Jews.
And there's a lot of people in Canada, a lot of conservative influencers who are the same as Tommy Robinson. They don't care about importing millions of people as long as you demonize Muslims. That's all they care about. So it doesn't really help. This is a story tonight in Ireland. Apparently a 10-year-old girl got raped by a North African migrant. And he was supposed to be deported, apparently, and now they're having, like, riots here. What are they doing here? So, this is why I say stuff like, we need to stop mass immigration in Canada, because we don't want, I think one girl's too many to get raped. To be honest, I don't know what these guys in Ireland and UK have been waiting for so long. It's crazy when these guys arrive in the boats, because they have boats. Like, Europe's a lot closer to Canada. They come on the boats and they just process them and then, okay, set them loose on society. And no wonder the women and the girls are terrified. But, like, why would you let them, people you don't even know, coming from who knows where, just wandering around with all the time in the world on their hands? Like, yeah. And, like, we're lucky in Canada because we have the ocean, so they can't come here on boats. They have to come here on planes. So there's not as many as Europe, but still, we're still doing it just at a slower pace. So I'd rather not do it. But yeah, it looks like a powder keg in the UK and Ireland. Powder keg. We'll keep an eye on that. And then next one. I hate these guys. The Canadian Anti-Hate Network. I hate them. They're like Antifa, basically. They're terrorists, I call them. But they get government money to smear Canadian people like myself. Not me personally, but people with the same, like, right-wing, basically white Canadians. Is really all they focus on. Like, as a hate network, they really only focus on one group. So look at this. They got, what did they get? I hate these guys. Canadian Anti-Hate Network. $200,000 from the government. They've gotten more than that, probably. This is just for one project. Yeah, it's just one project. Creating an ethical framework for research on far-right organizing in Canada. Basically, Canadians who don't want their country turned into a third world country. They're gonna research. When they say research, they mean smear. Objective of this project is to establish a framework that enables the Canadian Anti-Hate Network to conduct studies on the far-right landscape in Canada in full compliance with human subject research ethics. Expected outcomes include increased research capacity on anti-democratic movements rooted in racism and other forms of identity-based hatred. I mean, like, I'm sure they're talking about Indian identity-based. Yes. The identification, because, you know, we kind of mention Indians a lot because, like, there's millions of them here. The identification and adoption of best practices for researching human subjects and the development of foundations for a dedicated research arm that adheres, dedicated research arm, which means more money, that adheres to these ethical standards, whatever. Bunch of commies. How the hell they get all this money? Give me some money. More money. I'll take more money. Oh, this is hilarious. Bangladeshi refugee applicant in ICE custody barred from return to Canada. So apparently this guy come to Canada on an airplane and says, I'm a refugee. And then he wanders into the States and gets caught by ICE. And now he's saying it was an accident. And please take me back over to Canada where my refugee status. But really what he was doing, he was trying to sneak into the States. See, this is the problem with Canada. They fly here and then they sneak into the States because it's easier to fly into Canada than it is the States. So that's probably what he's doing. And now Canada did the right thing for a change. And the Canadian Border Services is saying, nuh-uh, you're not coming back. So one little thing at a time, but that's the right attitude. Because if we would have took him back, it would have been like, maybe the American said, you're not taking him back. We're sending him home. But we need more of that. Like, we got to slam the door here. Like, so much abuse, so many sob stories. Yeah, we got to slam the door on that. Next. This is the jewelry store in Pickering. Canada wasn't always a place where a jewelry store would get robbed 5 times in 1 month. What happened? Third world country is what happened. And you know, not prosecuting people, not putting people in jail or deporting them when they commit crimes. So third world country. There's the General Motors has confirmed it will be ending production of its Bright Drop electric delivery van at the Cami plant in Ingersoll. Future of 1,200 workers are now up in the air. There's going to be a lot more of this coming. And, you know, I have faith in Canadian workers, but when you have a government that has just destroyed the business environment, destroyed the environment in general, the whole society, it's kind of hard to get good investment. I think we can get it, but not with these clowns running things like Doug Ford and Mark Carney. It's just going to drive more out of here. And this is what I've been dealing with. Weak, woke, low testosterone white dudes are the biggest threat to Canada's existence by far. Yes. Yeah, because they're the ones who are giving up the country. Women, you can let them off the hook. It's the guys, those weak, low testosterone woke guys are the ones that, as far as I'm concerned, are the most responsible. The immigrants, they're trying to get the hell out of their shithole countries. Okay? That's kind of understandable. But the dummies are the ones, the woke white dudes that are like, ooh, you're racist. They're the ones that are the real danger to Canada, in my opinion. I have to deal with them every day in Sarnia. I hate it. I hate it. All right. People in my hometown of Sarnia like to call me racist because of my views on mass immigration. But they never ever call me a liar. Never. Never call me a liar. Because they have no argument. You say, look, it's a bad idea to import millions of Indians because it's going to turn Canada into India. Oh, you're racist. Look, that's literally all they say. Oh, I don't want my girls to be sexually assaulted by hordes of third world migrants, like in the UK and in Ireland. Oh, you're racist. You know, I have no time for people like that. They're weak and pathetic people. Weak and pathetic. Too many of them around. But you know, if they don't mind turning into India, that's their opinion. That's their right, I suppose, to think like that. Well, I have a right to not want to be India. And, you know, let India thrive in India. I have that right to opinion. All right. My face when politicians in Canada say Happy Diwali. Yeah. John A. MacDonald. I've been reading a book on him right now, and he's a very interesting guy. He drank a lot, but he did a lot of work for Canada. He had a baby, a daughter, and she was born with water on the brain, and it couldn't be treated back then, so she couldn't feed or clothe herself or walk, nothing. She couldn't do nothing on her own. But instead of packing her away to the institution or worse, because, you know, it was a shame back then. People were shamed into having a disabled child. But he kept her in the house the whole time, loved her like a regular, like she was just, so, yeah, I thought that was cool. I thought that was pretty good. And like that wasn't done in his time. So whatever bad things you say about John A., remember that. He stood up for his little baby. All right, this is messed up. This should never be allowed to happen. And whoever does this should be charged to the full extent. Shutting down the busiest highway in Canada. Now, I know it's 3 a.m., but who cares? What if there's an ambulance? What if there's a fire? You know, this is ridiculous. Look at this. I don't know what they're drag racing on the 401. Like, of all places to drag race. Look, there's trucks waiting. Yeah. That's third world country shit right there. Third world country. Toronto's third world country. Sarnia's close. Very close. Oh, is that it? Okay. Very close. Mm-hmm. And this is, well, I'm going to end it on this. This is Stephen. Everybody says Stephen Harper is this, everything was great with Stephen Harper and Trudeau came in and screwed it all up. I was like, I remember in the for like the last 20 years, we were getting invaded. And look at Harper saying he changed immigration. He changed Harper and the Conservatives, Pierre. This is why we can't trust any of these guys. They changed the laws to help bring more Indians. And Canada's not the only one. Everybody else, U.S., all the other Western countries were bringing in tons of Indians. So it's kind of like a concerted effort. But this is what Harper did. That's why you can't trust the Conservative Party either. The Liberals are traitors. Conservative Party, traitors. Doug Ford, Progressive Conservatives, traitors. They're all traitors. I don't say that lightly either. I don't. So, Prime Minister Harper delivered, this is 2015. This is probably after you, I don't know, he must have lost after that, his loss. Harper emphasized that India has become the prime source country for immigration to Canada due to recent changes made by the Canadian government to facilitate immigration from India to Canada. Immigration enriches Canada, said Harper. Today, India is Canada's top source country for immigrants, and this explains why Canada's Indo-Canadian community is over 1.2 million strong and continuing to grow. This is in 2015. Oh, the Indian-Canadian community has a proud history in our country. Compared to how his Conservative government has made changes to immigration regulations, making it easier for immigrants to come to Canada. In 2005, fewer than 2,500 student visas were granted to Indian students, said Mr. Harper. In 2014, the number has climbed to nearly 14,000. So, yeah, Trudeau did bring it up, like he exploded it under his 10 years, but Harper set the table. You know, I think if Harper was PM, it would have happened the same way. Possibly, maybe. Maybe that's why they got Trudeau in there, but Prime Minister also mentioned Chris Alexander's recent first visit to India to announce the CAM Plus program, under which there's a 95% approval rate, making more Indians able to visit Canada or do business. The program was designed for Indians who have already traveled to Canada or the U.S. Harper concluded by saying that men and women relentlessly pursue their goals to build a better, more prosperous life for themselves and their families and help this country immensely in the process. So yeah, that's Harper. It wasn't just Trudeau, it was Harper too. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's all. What can you do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
10 years.
Oh, and then this is...
We're the most successful. We're believers in...
This is Donald Trump talking about the commercials that Doug Ford just put out. The $75 million he spent. So all that $75 million did is going to piss off Donald Trump. So he's going to just be more motivated to take more jobs from Ontario. And then this comes after all the months of trash talking Trump. And then also the threats. Remember, he threatened to cut the electricity off, the exports. So yeah, Trump's noticing, but not in a good way.
Tariffs. And I even see foreign countries now that we are doing very well with taking ads. Don't go with tariffs. They're taking ads. I saw an ad last night from Canada. If I was Canada, I'd take that same ad also. But they're actually on television taking ads. But I do believe that everybody's too smart for that. We have a very, very big and important case coming up. We should win the case based on the legal merit. We should also win the...
Anyway, that $75 million, all it's going to do is piss off Trump. I'm not saying we should grovel to the guy, but trash talking him and making stupid threats and trying to make a big deal out of it instead of just kind of like trying to resolve it and blaming Trump for everything and whatever. It's not productive. And Doug Ford isn't going to suffer. He's going to be in his cottage, drinking beers, sitting with his trader buddies. The people who are going to suffer are the workers and the businesses that rely on workers. So, yeah, they're running it into the ground. It's horrible. Anyway, that's it for tonight. That's it. Next broadcast will be Friday night. Friday night, 22nd. I think it's the 24th. Blue Jays first World Series games on Friday too. So good stuff. So until then, have a nice night. Stay cool.